Hi everyone, Joy here. I wanted to share my newest baby. This is going to be my Life is a Journey journal, so it's about my life. And most of it was inspired by Betty Calkins in the JJJ etc. group on Facebook. I wanted to give an overall view of the whole spine and everything, and then tell you how I made it. What I did was I used my spine's 5 inches, and I used 2 sets of 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Kind of goofed a little bit because I was planning on doing 5-hole pamphlet stitch, and I ended up putting 6 holes in. I was going to plan on doing 5 signatures, but I ended up doing 6 because I put 6 holes in. So those were my first 2 oopsie daisies. And so I ended up with the 6 signatures, and the button spine was a little tricky, but I got it. 202 pages is the total amount of pages that's here. The top of it is just a placemat that was, I don't know what you call the fabric, but anyway, it is fabric covered on the inside here, and I put some cardstock inside of it as well, in between it to give it some support. I did Mod Podge on some cardboard here, and then just added some, this little squirrel actually came from Walmart in a little set of 10 or something, and just dolled it up there. I did use Tyvek under the placemat, and then inside each one of these pieces here has fabric covered over cardstock or paperboard as well. Might be a glare on that for you, but anyway. And so I put double card paperboard here, and also in the back I put double paperboard there. But for the spine I only put 1 because I wanted to be able to get my needle through it pretty easily. So the first page, this was a portrait envelope from when you go to school and they give you your pictures. So I have a little pocket here. I've not added anything. I wanted to show you guys before I added anything personal, so I didn't have to, you know, hide all the personal stuff. So this says, time has a way of showing up when showing us what really matters. I have a tag in there. Did some stenciling here. This is on Braille paper, or this is Braille. And it's the Girl Scout Promise. I was a big Girl Scout leader for over 20 some years, so that was important to me. This was my bed sheets when I was a child, so I wanted it in there. A little word of warning: if you're doing Mod Podge, don't cover the sheet in Mod Podge, because if you do, it sticks to everything. So that's another reason I put that sheet there. I'm a big tent camper. I love tent camping. I'll put that on later. I found this really pretty leaf. I beat dyed this paper here, so I wanted to have it in there. It doesn't really go with the theme, but this I had already glued in, so I didn't want to, you know, rip it all out. It says Life with Purpose. I have a tag here, just plain. I did a little watercoloring underneath one of my punches, more watercoloring. Pocket here. This is a belly band here. I actually did some gold or acrylic paint around a napkin tag on that. Some more stenciling. Just have a tag. I didn't put anything on the back of that. It says, not all those who wander are lost. More stenciling. This is the back of the photo envelope, which I'm going to add a picture in there later. This was a picture from my childhood encyclopedia set my parents had. I watercolored this page. First time watercoloring. There's a little pocket here This came from Kelly's Shop, which Bygones Variety Shop. I made this from a napkin. I had stenciled on some fabric here. I guess I should lay it flat maybe, see it better. My dad was a big gardener, so I ended up putting this in. Has some okra and tomatoes and kind of looks like a little bit of a sale stand. And there's a pocket in there. At church we always did apples, you know, dunking for apples. This says, a spring ritual when Grandpa, let's see, it took time from planting the garden to make us willow whistles. My dad always made us willow whistles. I did a coffee dyeing on these pages. My moose here, I love this moose so much. I just made a tag out of some cardstock there. I added some buttons down here, and there's a little leaf up here on a bulb pin. Bulb pins are available in Kelly's Shop, Bygones Variety. This was a fabric, piece of fabric that was used as a table runner, and somebody had painted on it, so I didn't like it, so I coffee dyed it and added a pin to it. There's just a Rolodex card that I have embossed on. There's a little tuck here. That's just a, let's see. I have a little tag here with a frog on it. I have a little tuck here that I just added in there. This was the one that I actually just added this section on. Added adventure here to make it a little bit longer so it didn't look so weird in my journal after I figured out that it was supposed to be. I love this stamp. Oops, sorry, it's upside down. That is a log home, and we are planning on, actually we've paid the down payment. We're going to move to Minnesota in a log home, so I'm excited about that. Little glassine bag there, just coffee dyed paper here. More watercolor picture here. My dad actually brought in a possum one time, and I'm just about, I couldn't believe it. This is a little tricky to get out of here, but I just used part of a book page and put it in there. But he brought me in a possum and brought it to the kitchen. My mom about had a flip backwards, so I had to add that in there. This was a napkin. I got this envelope in a rack and I thought it was pretty, so I added a picture on it, and I used a little bit of the tape, fabric tape. This is just a picture inside of this. This was my old wedding dress that I coffee dyed, and I love how it turned out. It's just really pretty. More coffee dyed pages. Added me another moose because I love moose. And there's a little butterfly on the back of that. That's a napkin as well, and I gessoed it. This was from the Childhood Encyclopedia as well. More of my wedding dress, the end of it. I had this little book, somebody showed it on our, somebody got it in a rack, and I made one because I really liked it. So it has beet juice paper, some stamping, and some parchment paper, and it just has little folds up. That's from a pattern paper. That fits in there. There's a pocket here I haven't put anything in, and there's a pocket here I haven't put anything in. There's my badger and my moose. And this is a flip page with, I just added a button and a leaf. So that's a flippy. Inside is a bull moose. I got this in a rack, which I appreciated very much. So all of this was from a rack from Donna Evans, which I really appreciated her stuff so much I had to do it that day. This as well. I had so much fun putting this together. There's a moose up here. There's two pockets here. And there's a little skunk here with some ribbon backing. Just added some stickers. This was inspired by Betty Calkins as well. I have a Rolodex card and added a little picture on top of it. This tag is made from a napkin, or excuse me, from my grandpa and grandma's trunk had some music papers in it, so I put it in there. This is from Kelly's shop. It's a library card. I made this with punches that I have. This has a flip here. This tree was, the idea was also Betty's, which I absolutely love. I made a little spot under here that has a little flip out spot here. And that's kind of a little hidden spot. And then there's a little tuck as well there. Oops, wrong way. And then this owl, which was my problem in the first place, I put this paper on trying to hide and have it down there, and it just looked terrible, so I ended up undoing that. This is an envelope, and I put Atlas paper under the lip of that, and then I added some eyelash trim here. This is just some fabric over some cardstock, another little hide spot here. So I just added a punch. I think that's a Martha Stewart punch. And this is one of the scrappies that Kelly talks about, just taking your scraps and putting them together to make a spot. And this paper was kind of hard to, I was trying to match the paper together. This was such an off color that it really didn't go. So I was kind of bringing in the theme, which is why I put the owl there in the first place, to kind of bring it in. This is a Franken tuck spot, Franken page tuck spot. And this underneath was just a table doily, I believe. This picture here are these little tags, just have butterfly and bees on them. And I put some of the metallic gold on them. I don't know if you can see that or not. This is some dictionary paper. I watercolored over the top of it, put it on one of the time cards available in Bygone's Variety Shop, added some of that, and I have a little tuck spot here as well, made a tag. Oops. Have a pocket in there. I got this idea from another Facebook website where you take a picture and then you add in some bolder things. I left this as a little pocket here, but I don't know if I'm going to use it as a pocket because I kind of like it the way it is. I added a little lace on the edge there as well. This was some things from my childhood that just were important to me. We seem to always get these for Christmas and that for Easter, and so I just put it all in here. Just some memories from when I was young. This is the other side of the rack that I got from Donna Evans. Another one of these little scrappy pages. A moose in that little hole. I had a little ribbon on a Tim Holtz pin. This is a little book that is just paper, and that goes in that little spot. I have several spots here on the edges. This one is got a big one and then two little ones. In here I've got a bison. Put that on an index card. And then there's another spot there as well. This is a paper Franken belly band. And I added just picture there. embossed on that, and then added a little fabric tab. And there's a little leaf here on a bulb pin in the Bygones Variety Shop, and this has a tuck spot here. The leaf came from Walmart in that package of goodies. This is the slip from my wedding dress. I thought that dyed beautifully. I really like the way it dyed. Glad I tore that sucker up. There's a leaf page with a tuck spot there. This is a tag in here. There's a spot to tuck underneath this. This is a vellum page. And this was part of that same fabric doily thing. Added a couple spots there. More of this. This idea here came from Betty as well, and of course all of these big tags. I love these thick big tags, which was her idea as well. And I coffee dyed the envelope, of course. This is just cardstock paper here. I did this one backwards. It's supposed to have been this way, and then I put the button on backwards, but that's okay. So it's just a dyed hard cardstock there. It still works. The pretty's on the outside. This is a Franken page of just all moose and bear and fishing and whatnot. And then that's a picture of a harvest mouse, and I knew I wouldn't remember what it was, so I did Betty's little trick there and put that on the back there, because I looked at that and I thought, I don't know what that thing is. It's a mouse of some sort. This is another piece of that fabric, that doily thing that table runner I didn't care for like it was, so I dyed it up. I put a tag in the edge here, tag here, gesso, excuse me, that page there. Oh, this little page here, I put a couple just buttons like Betty does. And then this is a flip page here. And I have a little flip here. This is kind of a funky little thing that I just was trying to figure out how to fold something, and it looked kind of cool, so I stuck it in there. Then I have a little boy and dad walking down a lane here that I added. Added some fabric tabs and some stenciling. I got this leaf from an Etsy shop, and I honestly do not remember the name of the Etsy shop, and I really would like to know the name of the Etsy shop because I really like it and want to get some more, possibly a little bit later. I think I threw it away like a ding dong. Anyway, I have card in here. On this, I have another one of those little scrappy pages. It has a little baby deer there, and then happy trails to me. This has a little tuck spot here. I put a little wonder tag in there, stenciled on the top of those. Little tuck spot here. This was one of little Betty's little flippy things that she does, which I think are really cute. That's a gesso and napkin Mod Podge, and this is watercolored that I did. There's a pocket and another pocket. And here I just put one of these little green tabbies on there on some dyed paper. I stamped it. There's a pocket here, and the butterfly, and I put some of that metallic stuff on there. This is one of my little deer altered paper clips. We have some more stenciling. And this one says, in every walk with nature, one receives far more than he seeks. That's John Muir. And this has a little bitty acorn, which came from Walmart in that same pack. And just a coffee dyed piece of paper there. This is a flash card, and I just stenciled it up and stuck it in there. It's all about nature. I made a tag here, one of Tim Holtz's pins on there. I had a little bit of stenciling on the back. This was a napkin that I just cut out and put on some cardstock, and then I pasted it on there. Got some stickers, which I thought were pretty, more watercolor. And the last page is just a bird with another bird. Oh, I put some bees and honeycomb look thing there, and then the deer is the back. I just used some ribbon as the cover. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my life journal. Now I can fill it up with all of my own special goodies. Thanks for watching.